Penny says, I guess my VA question goes more to who adds the video to your site. Last week you went over a new video program that you said would make the process way easier for whom? The VA or you? Says Penny. We talk about this sometimes, the fact that, for example, in Camtasia, I can produce out a video player, but it is hideously difficult to embed it into, say, a WordPress site because the player itself doesn't include what's called an embed code. It spits out a whole bunch of files, and all those files have to be on your site or on Amazon or something, but in the proper place, and it's just a whole bunch of icky mess. And yes, our VA Leslie is skilled in using the tools that we provide and have purchased to make video integration easier. Typically, that involves completely ignoring the Camtasia player, except in the case of, say, these replays that we provide to you guys, because we want to have a specific feature that that player provides, the table of contents. Okay, so we produce out with a table of contents, and if you've ever noticed when you watch the replays, well, it opens up the video that you click on the thumbnail of in a new tab or a new window. It doesn't just play on the page, which would be sweet, and there are a couple of ways to do that, but it's really nasty and complex. You have to use an iframe and a JS Lightbox, and it's just ugly. So we just take the HTML file that Camtasia spits out and hyperlink it to the thumbnail on the replay page, right? So that being said, there are lots of other tools out there that let me just produce out the video file. So for example, if I want a HD video to play on my website, I might use the MP4 only option here, or MP4 only lesser quality, to create a video file, MP4 video file, and then use just the built-in functions of WordPress to display it on a page, or more typically we'll use a third-party player. One of those is the one Penny mentions that I talked about last week. It's called PressPlay. And PressPlay is actually not a bad little video player to use. And I'll preface it this way, because I've been getting questions in email about this. Okay, well, PressPlay is kind of nice and stuff, but do I need it? Well, certainly you don't need it. But I will say that if you are creating videos that you want to have a call to action on, in other words, a sales video that someone will watch the video, click a buy button, and buy something, or a video that has a specific call to action, a video that has an opt-in form pop up in the video itself that someone can enter a name and email address to watch the next video or join my mailing list, okay? Or to have a social media share button pop up in the video that when someone is finished watching the video can share it. Okay, so those are all marketing kinds of things that I might want to have happen with a video. PressPlay lets me configure players that have those specific marketing features and the benefits thereof built into it in such a way that it is very easy to configure those. PressPlay is one that I picked up. What I like about it is you can create different campaigns or projects. So here I'm going to be launching a new site called pptvideo.com. So one of the things I want to have there are opt-in pages. And PressPlay, and I won't get too deep into this, but PressPlay configures a player for a video, and it also lets you create pages that are just very nicely laid out that have videos on them. So like a video opt-in page. Now currently we use an absolutely awesome product to create ours quickly and easily called Lead Pages. And Lead Pages is, I don't know, it's like $260 a year or something like that. Totally worth it because we just use it constantly. All of our webinar registration pages, all of our lead capture pages, even our error pages on the Learn Camtasia website are just templates. That lead pages lets us drag and drop and modify quickly and easily, and it just works. If you've ever tried to create a page and format all the HTML and the CSS and all that stuff, oh gosh, it's just a nightmare. So there are systems out there that make this rather easy and painless, and it just works. So this particular product lets me not only configure really awesome video players with some cool and interesting features, and I'm not going to get into all of them right now. I talked a little bit about the ability to share a video and blah, 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 stuff like that, but also lets us create these pages that right now we typically use lead pages for. So here I'm working on some tests and things like that. So I don't know, let's just open this up and see what happens. And actually I'll probably put the link in so you guys can maybe test it or check it for me. This is a page that I created in, I'd have to check my notes, but it was like less than 10 minutes. It took me to create this page. And you'll notice right here it has this really kind of cool feature. Sometimes, especially in a sales video, someone will open up the page, start to watch the video, and then what do? Well, you wander off somewhere. With this, it recognizes that you left the page or whatever, and you can kind of watch from the beginning or skip to where you left off, right? And it has a bunch of these cool little features. If you scroll down the page and the video goes off the page, off the sales page, the video pauses. And you can wander around like everybody does, go down, check the price at the bottom, and then scroll back up, and the video starts to replay right where you left off. So why is this important? It's little things like this that help increase conversions. Okay, that's the name of the game. That's the whole ball of wax, is conversions when it comes to marketing and sales videos. Did someone do what I want them to do? And what can I do to help ensure that they do that as much as possible? Well, one of the things is you provide a player or a page that can be viewed on a full screen monitor, on a tablet, or on a mobile device. Okay? The nice thing about systems like this is I don't have to worry about any of that. And I can preview it. Let's see, here's what it's going to look like on an iPhone. Okay? And it's just basically going to work. It lets me put in the email. And the cherry part of all of this is that this connects directly to my Aweber account, right? I don't have to copy form code. I don't have to, oh gosh, make sure this field is this or that or anything. The software goes to Aweber because I give it permission to do that, right? It hooks directly to the Aweber API, Application Programming Interface. So under the covers, all I do is say, oh, I'm using Aweber. It connects directly under the covers to Aweber, and when I say I want to put an opt-in form in, it says, oh, okay, let me check your Aweber lists, and which one would you like? And I just pick the list name. Would you like me to capture their name and their email, just their email, or what? Tick, tick, check, check, boom, done, just works. So when it comes to actually implementing your awesome video content for sales and marketing purposes, gosh, half the game is getting it out there and having everything not just look really good, because looking good is okay, but it's not the most critical thing in the world, right? It lends to professionalism, certainly. People feel a little more at ease maybe committing to entering their name and email address from a page that has some credibility as far as the look goes, but it's not the end of the world. People want your content and your video was awesome in convincing them that they want it, then, they'll just put their name and email address in. But gosh, if you can make things easier and get your video content out there faster, doing its marketing duties, and have that integration connecting right to your list building. This also connects right to GoToWebinar, so I can create webinar registration pages. And like I say, that's one of the big things we use lead pages for. Oh my gosh, it is so much easier to go into lead pages and say, hey, we're having a webinar with Jeff Herring next week, and connect to my GoToWebinar account and set all that up for me. And make a pretty page that says, hey, register for our webinar, from a template. And it's done, right? So if you think about it, what that does is it lets me let Leslie, who is not an HTML guru by any way, shape, or means, get those tasks done for me because they're systematized with software. We set it up once, you can pick from templates, and a VA can definitely handle work like this. Okay. Tony says, I have lead pages. Is there really a need for PressPlay? That's a great question, Tony, because I have lead pages, and we, like I just rambled on about, we use it all the time. There's not a need necessarily for it, and I would say that there are advantages feature-wise to PressPlay that lead pages doesn't have, but by the same token, lead pages has templates for things other than just video pages, right? So I wouldn't say that you absolutely need them, and that's going to be my basic take on it. I also will say that if all you're looking to do is configure a video player, then you don't need PressPlay, okay? If you just want to put videos on your blog that don't have some of these conversion boosting features, in other words, videos that are sales videos or lead generation videos, things that you want someone to take a specific call to action for, that's the benefit here, is that it has these features that let people engage with your video. And the reason we might want to do that is, again, to increase our conversions for mailing lists, for sales, and things like that. So if you're not doing that, or you don't need to do that, just because you're not doing it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be for greater effect, then if you're just configuring a player, then you can just find even free video players for WordPress plugins and things like that to just display your videos. But this has got some pretty good juice to it, and like I say, you can configure nice looking pages, but this is basically what it looks like, and it should just work. And as you can see, it's just kind of delightful, and the opt-in form should just work. Right. So Tony says he also has Simple Video Pro that does a lot of the same things as PressPlay. Yep, absolutely. I would say that if you have, and I think you said you did, yeah, Tony, if you have lead pages and Simple Video Pro, then you're just like doubling up, probably making yourself more work by having to learn additional, another tool. I would guess you'd be pretty set to go there. Personally, I have Easy Video Suite, which is from my buddy Josh Bartlett. Well, I've had that for 5 years now, and they've revised it once, but it provides a lot of good tools and features. The thing about PressPlay, again, is that it's like the best of lead pages and Easy Video Suite plus some more stuff because it's newer, right? And the other thing that I really like about PressPlay, and I'll just kind of end with this, is that it's developed by a guy that I know, and I know that he creates awesome software. Make no mistake, this is software. And his name is Matt Callan. And I've been buying his and his brother Brad, I've been buying their stuff for years and years. Brad Callan made famous by a piece of software called SEO Elite. And it's state-of-the-art in the day and state-of-the-art today. But that's just how those boys write code, right? Hagar makes the comment that Aweber's templates are ... less than impressive. Yeah. See, and that alludes back to the benefit of having a piece of software that connects to the Aweber API, because Aweber templates, and don't even get me started on their configuration interface that is just nasty, to create a form. Their templates are like the 90s called, and they want their template back. They're just useless. And then you got to configure them, and then you got to copy the code to put it on a web page. And sometimes the JavaScript code works, but sometimes it doesn't. You got to use the raw HTML code. Oh, and sometimes the raw HTML code has too much stuff in it for formatting, and you got to use the stripped down version of the raw HTML code. And yeah, life is just probably way too short. Having tools that provide the functions that you need and want are an awesome thing. By the way, I'll just let everybody know that PressPlay, if you want to go check it out, you should do so. And at a minimum, you should go look at a video, the first video in their launch series. Their launch pricing is closing, I think tomorrow. And essentially, remember I mentioned that lead pages is like $260 a year? I bought PressPlay for a one-time fee of $247. Right? And they have a 3-pay option and stuff too. And then they have, I don't know, like a bunch of upsells, some for more templates and things like that. I went with the basic package, but hey, if you don't have lead pages, and again, if this is something that you kind of need and want to do, then it's a decent tool to do it. Let's just take a look at the video settings here real quick, and I'll just show you how kind of easy it is to configure. Now this, I created a page, but you can just create a video player, and then you'll get code that you can just, drop in and have it work. So here, I'm just calling YouTube, but I could just as easily put in a custom link, okay? And this could be a link to Amazon S3, which is where I would host videos if they weren't on YouTube. So you just paste your URL of the YouTube video in. I can pick a thumbnail. I might put a thumbnail in there, and then you just kind of click through and switch on or switch off all of the features that you want the player to have. Do I want it to start on page load? Well, for a short squeeze video like this, yes, I do. I don't want to have somebody land on the page and then sit there looking at the box here wondering if the video is going to play or anything like that. So I do, and I'm letting them resume where they left off here. Well, you can turn that off if you want. And then what action happens when the video ends? Pause on the last frame, go to the first frame, empty black frame, reloop video, all kinds of different options there. And then the controls. You can choose to show the bar or not, and which I find to be incredibly irritating on sales video pages. When you can't even pause the video, those are the worst. But in addition to that, if I can pause the video and it's a sales video, gosh, sometimes I'd like to go back and, review something, or maybe I missed something. And that's why they have buttons like this here. Well, with this, I can kind of force someone to watch it, if you will, but if they go ahead and bail on me and come back, let's say the next time they come back, I want them to be able to see the controls. Okay, so that's kind of a nice non-irritating feature. I like that. And, like I say, it's just kind of push button stuff here. And, here's where we put in the opt-in form kind of thing. And here's the interesting last part that I'll leave with, is that it's not earth-shattering to be able to put the email and address right inside the video. Because if you notice my opt-in page here, well, they can put in their name and email address. But this little aspect here has been shown to improve conversions when at the end of the video, or even at a certain point in the video, okay, I can choose when to have this email opt-in form pop up right within the video itself. Why? It just converts better, okay? People, they have just this thing, as psychological as it may be, if the form pops up inside the video, apparently people do it more. And of course you could skip it or things like that, but it's just an easy way to configure it. The same with the share buttons, like the Facebook share buttons. It's not unusual. In fact, we'll go back here. Well, I can share this video right here, but conversion-wise, when it pops up right here, thanks for watching my video. Please share. And here, just click this big share button. People will click that more often than this. Okay? And you can have both. So something people are used to and something that this kind of entices them. That kind of thing. So anyway, I don't want to get too much into this. It just makes it easy to configure. Are you offering bonuses to purchase a PressPlay? Asked Mike. Yes. In fact, I'm offering a year's worth of the coaching calls, a year's worth of screencast coaching membership. So if you already are a member, which all of you are, we can just add another year to it, kind of thing, which a couple of folks have done.